two-story home, a fire sprinkler layout. This is going to be for Nfpa 13D, 2016 specifically. So let's get started. I'm going to be using my title reference layer. We're in Draftsight, by the way. So I'm in my title reference layer. I'm using this for layout lines. And this is my bottom story with the garage, upper story. Got some sections here. But I'm gonna just kind of try and do this quickly. Give you an idea how we would lay something like this out. Compared to the last video, it's gonna be a little bit more complicated because we have a second story that we have to connect the pipe between. It's no big deal, but slightly more complicated than the last one we did. Something I forgot to do, I'm going to take care of. I'm going to go in and mark my closets. Actually, even worse than that, I need to back up. We're going to clean up some stuff on here. So again, this is like the last time. This is I actually had this drawn because this happens to be my house. So it's just a drawing I had to work with available, but this is pretty much, what it would be like if we get a set of plans from a home designer or an architect, and we'd import it, and it'd look like this, and we'd do some cleanup stuff. I mean, we don't need like these dimensions, so I'll just isolate that layer and delete them all. Looks like the upper story is on different layer. Delete those ones. Also, we don't need these door labels. Isolate layer. Delete all those. Not sure what that one was from. Let's see. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Okay. Now the window labels. Isolate those. Okay, that's looking better. We'll just keep going on our closet callouts here. Use our get area tool to measure. And I come up with 15.429, so we will conservatively round up to 16 feet. Let's make it fit better. Looks like there's there's a closet under the stairs that I forgot to draw. So there's a door right here. We'll just put let me think about that. I'm gonna go keep doing this so we can move things along. There's a good closet. Some of you may be wondering about, I don't know if this one's over 3 feet, but we can check. But that rule no longer applies. I think I got rid of it in, I don't remember if it was 2012 or if it was the 2016. But now it's just if it's under 24 square feet, regardless of depth. And I don't know why I didn't measure it. It's 2'11", so would have squeaked by anyway. Let's go Do these closets. Again, remeasure it. And this is totally not necessary, but you know, I just like to give them as much information as possible. When you got plans examiners, just make it easy for them. They tend to appreciate that. It's really all this is about is making them happy. So installer is really not going to need it on a house like this if they're experienced. Let's see. That's kind of weird. Okay. Using F8 to turn ortho on and off to be able to, oops. I think I also turned on, let me go up. Polar, which is F10. Okay. 10 square feet. We got one more right here. And per Nfpa 13D, closet could be a closed closet, could be a pantry. But as soon as there's a piece of equipment in it, it's no longer a closet, like a water heater or furnace or washer dryer. Used to be that those would only need heads if they were gas powered, but just as long as it's just equipment, if it's in there, it needs a sprinkler now. One last closet I missed here. This one, that kind of looks funky, but that's good enough. Good, okay. So now bathrooms, it's if they're 55 square feet or under, they also do not require a sprinkler. So looks like that's 45. So I'll get my note. It's a different code reference. Here we go. $45 square feet. Same, okay. There's one down here that this one seems bigger, but let me see. It's probably close. Oh, it's only 50. Okay. All right, and the other thing I like to mark out is we got a ceiling fan here. I've got this little circle with the note to call out ceiling fans. Again, this is not necessary, but it's just good with, makes it easy for plans examiners, inspectors. Don't want to have to make them think too much. F8. So I'm also going to show we're going to stay 18 inches away from the range. And so I've got this little thing with a call out that I use. Turn off ortho. And turn it back on. Okay, so as long as we stay out of that area, we can use a regular temperature sprinkler. Now, another thing that didn't come across on here is this wall is a half height wall. And also I didn't have anything marking on there that this area is vaulted. These are scissor trusses in here. So the hallway from this line on and everywhere else in the house is a flat ceiling, but this area is sloped. In fact, I can show you real quick. Here is the model. This is that room. Let's back up. This is the house. Pretend like we're walking in the front door. Come up the stairs. Flat here. This area is vaulted. There's our ceiling fan. And this is a half height wall. So back to our CAD file. Okay. I am going to need to somehow mark this slope ceiling. And I don't think I have the block on here that I use. We have to remember to put that into here. Okay. Let's just keep going on. I'm going to find the center of these rooms now. And it didn't get put on here, but actually all of these bedrooms on the top floor, I happen to know they have, because it's my house, I've put fans in all of them. So we're going to have to end up probably putting two heads in them all. Maybe not these ones, we'll see. I'm going to just go across there for now. And, oh, we don't, here we go. We don't need this roof plane, but okay, yeah, it still leaves the ceiling beak. We need that. This is the peak of the vault, and this is where it flattens. So I'm going to kind of treat this like a room right here and just find the center of it. I just, obviously all these rooms probably have lights right in the center of them, but it's just a place to start with the sprinklers to lay them out. I gotta figure out a door for this, but there's also gonna be a head in here. I'm just gonna imagine it's about flat to there, so we're gonna keep the head in the flat part of the closet. All right, let's just start copying our sprinkler symbol. So copy from the center to the midpoint of all these lines. Like there's definitely a light right there. That's not going to stay there. Okay. So now, oops, I'm going to do the closet. Copy that. Now I'm going to get rid of all these construction lines. Oops, here's one I missed too. Really, to do sprinkler drawings, we don't use very many commands. We're just manipulating the drawing that you get from the architect. All you're doing is, copying and pasting these symbols that already exist because we've created them as a block. And then you're just connecting them with lines, which are the pipe, and then you dimension it. It's pretty simple. We have these tools here that we didn't talk about it, but we're using a Senju head. On this one, we're going to be doing 16 by 16 spacing. We can just drop these. That one's pretty obvious. We're going to need 2 heads there. I'm going to copy that instead of move it. We just go and kind of drop them around. Could have put the heads in with this too. That would work pretty good, I guess, and maybe it'd be faster. Like this shows you that this room is covered, but I know that there is a fan, and it's too close to it, even the regular light. It's 16-foot spacing, and the room's 15.2 across, so I don't know. I would normally, if there, didn't show a fan, I'd probably max out the 8 feet from this wall to get it over here, and you'd be far enough away from the light. But since I know it's got a fan, I'm just going to do 2 heads. I'm going to just keep it in the middle to line up with the lights, in case you like that type of thing. I actually don't think that, some people say we want it lined up with the lights, but the reality is, like it's like a higher class system or something. You took the time to line up with the lights. But ultimately, I don't think anyone notices. Maybe if it's in a fancy house, custom house, I don't know. Now I need to mark somehow too, this is a half height wall, because otherwise we'd probably think we need 2 heads here. I mean, we do need 2 heads, look at that. So, but there's no wall here. There is a little wall here, oddly enough. So I got enough coverage. Oh, something we need to think about, actually. So this is a slope, and you have to measure, this is it right here, actually. This section A, that's this section right here. And it's a slope. That's a scissor truss. And when you are measuring the distance between sprinklers, you do it on the slope. And this drawing we're doing is flat with like at the floor, or with it's in line with the flat ceiling, but it doesn't correspond with these slope ceilings. And so to kind of figure out our maximum spacing off the wall, you would go to your section here, and we're going to just draw a construction line. this line right here is the same as the slope of the ceiling, so I'm just going to go out 12 feet. Actually, what I want to do is, we back up. My maximum distance off of a wall with these heads that I'm using is 8 feet, so that's what I want to figure out. So 8 feet. Here, let me move it. It's going to be easier if I do it on this line. We like easy. Okay, so now I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to use this end as a base point. I'm going to snap up here. So it's right on top of there, but it's a 8-foot line. And I'm going to use my aligned dimension. I mean, the linear dimension, not aligned. And so an 8-foot line on a 312 slope like this is only 7'9" horizontally. So we want to make sure that we're no more than 7'9" off of this wall. And then your heads, the spacing between them should be no more than twice that distance. So that would be 14'6". So, but that's just in this direction because the slope is going up here and then down here. But this way, we're still on a flat plane, so it'd still be 16 feet this way. So again, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about this area of the roof, or ceiling rather, where it's sloped, but you can't necessarily see that slope on this drawing here, other than we're going to write a note, slope. But let's go ahead and get this laid out. Enough talking about that. Let's make sure we're not more than 7'9" off of this wall. Okay, we're good. I'm just gonna go, what I do? Grab that grip, come on, there we go. Perpendicular. I'm just gonna put it 7'9" off the wall. That's gonna be our maximum. I'm just gonna line up all the heads on this side of the house with that. Well, we wanted to keep those lined up with the lights, didn't we? So let's do that, I guess. Whatever. We need 2 heads here, so let's try 48 and 8. That's our minimum. It'd probably look a little better if we went a little further away from there. I'm gonna go 2 feet. Just do the same with this one. Actually, you know what? There's a little bit of a weird thing with the ceiling and shadow areas, but I am going to max out my 8 foot from this wall because I want to get coverage into this area. We just copy this at 8 feet. We'll see where that puts us. It's kind of perfect. Actually, no, there's a light here. We're plenty far away from that. Okay. Plenty far away from that fan. Just using the line command, and this is, I realize these are construction lines. I should be I have this layer set up so that it won't print in case I forget to erase any of this stuff. Like all of this stuff that's on title reference, even these dimensions won't print. So I really need to put this on right here because that's going to be a pipe now, is the pipe layer. So there's our first pipe. And I'm laying this out. Here's my section here. There's a truss. So I got on 2-foot on centers, there's scissor trusses in this area and then regular trusses over here. Here's this section is right here, and you can see they're laid out on 24-inch centers. And so I want to run this way through here so that I can just lay my pipe on the top of the bottom cord. This is the bottom cord of the truss. I just want to lay my pipe on top of there and strap it right to the top of there with my hangers. So that's what we're doing here. And let's figure out this other side. I'm gonna get rid of these. Let's do our 7'9" again on this slope ceiling. And let's just go all the way across. I do, yeah, actually, I'm just gonna copy these heads, make it symmetrical. Okay. We'll just move these up into this line. And just to make sure we're away from the light and fan in this case, I'm going to also go 8 feet off of this wall. I'm going to use that to trim this line now. And get rid of those. And let's go 8 feet off of this wall. Now here, this is the match properties tool right here. Since I already have a pipe, I can just use match properties. I can click on that pipe, and now I can turn that into a pipe as well. Now, I'm kind of thinking I am just going to extend something I forgot to draw on this plan is the attic access, and it's right here, so I don't want to run pipe over the top of it. So I'm going to just do it right there, and I'm going to just move this onto there, and I think that's pretty good now. Except we don't have this covered. Let's see, is this? What's the distance from this wall? That's good. Okay. So we're going to need one over the entry as well. And there's no light here, which is helpful. There's a wall sconce over here. But a lot of times you don't know when you're doing a sprinkler layout, it's pretty common to not get a light, electrical plan. A lot of times it's just not done on a house. And anybody who's done this a few times knows that the electrician rarely, if ever, will follow the electrical plan if there is one. Nothing against electricians or anything. That's just the way it works out. Just like our drawing here. this is really just to suggest the routing of piping, and so that we can do calculations to show that there's enough water pressure. But you don't need to follow this exactly. The verbiage I have here on my general notes says, piping and equipment is shown diagrammatically. The drawings suggest routing of piping and approximate location of heads. The actual routing of piping and exact location of equipment shall be determined in the field. Contractor shall furnish and install all necessary piping equipment supports and any equipment not shown on drawing or called for in the specifications, but necessary to provide a complete and workable system. So it's just, some people, inspectors and stuff, think that this is written in stone, and so that's why we put that on there, to help them realize, you know, we're determining, we're going to make sure that everything is going to work with just 1-inch CPVC pipe, because that's what we want to use. And if not, maybe we have to bring in something bigger. The supply to this house, I happen to know that it's 1.25 PVC, so we could, we could increase our riser size from the first to the second floor to 1.25 if we had to, if it was real low pressure. But moving on with layout, let's get out of the weeds here. Let's see. This entry still needs some work. We need another head. I don't think there's any way to do this without 3 heads in this entry hallway area. It's pretty funky. Let's see. Also got to figure out how to do it so the heads don't interfere with each other. They can't be closer than 8 feet to each other if they're in direct path to one another. So we got wall in between here, so that's fine. What about if I just actually do this? Six inches off that wall. There's no direct line of sight between these heads, so they're not going to interfere with each other, with the spray patterns. All right, I need to connect this one here. Let's see. I'm going to wait for that. Let's go ahead and start laying out our bottom floor piping. We're going to be running this direction with our piping as much as possible. We want to go between these floor choice and kind of minimize our drilling if we can. Some guys don't seem to mind that, and that's totally fine. I like to minimize drilling on jobs if I'm going to install it, because boy, it's just kind of a waste of labor if we can avoid it. Okay, that one's good. There's no fan in here. Even if there was, that'd be good clearance from a fan. That would be, the light is right here. Right in the middle of a light in this room, we're gonna need 2 heads. Guess I'll keep it lined up with the lights. I'm gonna go 48 inches. Copy at 8 feet. And I'm going to move this a little closer to the wall. Let's go 6 inches. Just going to put it on the wall and then move it 6 inches away. That's, we know where at least our minimum. I'm going to go do the same thing here on this wall. 6 inches. Now, let's do 8 feet off the wall. Okay. I want to try and line these up as much as possible this direction so that we can stay between joists. So I'm going to move this over foot. I'm going to draw a line up from it. And I'm just going to align all of these heads. Okay, now that's a pipe. Now, there's no good way. What I'm going to just do here. This is actually going to be. Got to think here. How are we going to connect this all together? Let's go ahead and put our riser in. Water is actually coming in, comes under the house right here, and comes up in the laundry room. There's a water heater right here. So we'll just actually let's put it in this wall. That's what we'll do. That's just gonna put it in the middle. That's actually not a bad spot. My water heater is like right here. I could have a panel right there, just reach through to be able to access the drain and the shutoff valve. Maybe we'll just move it to the other side. Make sure there's plenty of room. What's that? 2 foot. Let's go 2 foot. Okay. So, how are we going to get from this floor, or in the ceiling, right here, and right here? As you can see, there's not a lot of stuff connecting in between, and this stuff over here is over the garage. It's kind of a challenge sometimes, but there's some stuff we can make work here. Like probably this wall right here. So what I'm gonna do, I usually like to have more stuff connected, but before I do this, but I'm gonna make all the stuff on this floor a block, and I'm gonna put it on this floor so I can kind of just see where it is below these walls. And you'll notice this house has a little bit of an overhang. And so we need to find a base point. We can't just like use this corner and snap to this corner because they're offset. So I'm going to create one by using the middle of this wall. I'm just going to draw a construction line there. I could just use the middle of the wall and it'd be pretty good, but I just like to do this to make it'll just be faster to snap to, and it's highly visible. So now that I've done that, I'm going to make all of this stuff a block. Select it all. Oops. The heads and the riser assembly. And I'm gonna go edit, copy with reference point. And the reference point is gonna be this endpoint here. Now I'm gonna go edit, paste as block. The destination is this endpoint. So now this is showing me where this stuff is all directly below. And right off the bat, these walls look like they're pretty close to lined up, so I mean, that doesn't really matter, but this wall right here is really close to our riser, so I'm gonna go with that. Let's see. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm gonna go through this wall right here. This pipe is running directly under this wall, so that's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get a little circle symbol that I use for the pipe going up, the riser nipple, so to speak. Just our vertical pipe. Where are we at? I'm gonna put it on the middle of this wall. On there, okay. Then I'm gonna copy it from that to that. Okay, that's where we're going up to the second floor. There's a wall directly above there, which is right here. I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. So now this is where we're coming up. And I'm just gonna come off the side of that, connect to this pipe, do the same thing over here. And I'm gonna get rid of this. Okay. Just gonna move it to here, and 6 inches from this wall, and then just onto that line. Let's go ahead and do match properties, make this into pipe. We were connected to below from above, and we just need to connect this head. I'm going to change to my pipe layer, so I don't have to keep using match properties. Actually, I'm going to go this way because it's going to be easier to hang, and I would be lazy if I was installing it, probably. Like you're just going across the top of the trusses this way. If you run this pipe, we'll have to do it here, but here we'd have to, run extra wood and, find some scrap somewhere. These days, that's a, lot more expensive commodity than it used to be. Harder to come by, maybe. Maybe not. Pipe's expensive too, and we're using a little more pipe this direction. Let's see. So this is looking pretty good. We do have, there's going to be a little riser nipple here. There's going to be a change in elevation. Let's see. Nope. Need to be 3.5 inches from the quadrant of the circle, not the center. So 3.5 inches over, because, you know, that's probably not right. It's probably, yeah, it might be. It's probably one right there. It might only be 1.5 inches. But roughly right there, it's going to be some sort of an elevation change where it's going up from the flat ceiling behind here to that spot on the slope ceiling. And we'll figure out exactly what it is and mark it here. Let's go ahead and put one over here too. It's a little bit weird that this slope ceiling has this offset in it. That's actually how it is. It's kind of odd, but I guess maybe it makes it a little more interesting. Um, okay. So we're gonna end up having to drill some down here because there's just no walls in this area to go down. That's okay. Let's go ahead and connect this to this pipe. Using trim and extend here a lot. But there's, I mean, you know, there's use the line command initially to draw a line. And then at that point, you can just select the line. You can use these grips to stretch it. You can use the middle grip to move it. If you have two lines, you can use the trim command. You can use the extend command. If you're in the trim command already, you can hold down shift and it will extend to the same edge that you selected for the cutting edge. So we're gonna have to drill across. There's no good way to do this. Man, I would probably do something like move the heads more this way so I didn't have to drill as much. But, you know, if you want, it's not that big of a deal, I guess. It's also hard to stuff CPVC pipe after you drill these, you know. 1 inch isn't bad, but, you know, you got to take this flexible, somewhat flexible pipe and shove it up in here, go through the hole. You're going to end up possibly making your first hole a little bit bigger to make this crazy thing work to shove in that piece of pipe. It's just kind of a little bit of a pain. All the plumbing guys are going to say, yeah, that's why you should be using PEX. Which for residential, I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea, but all the sprinkler guys are going to hate me for saying that. Man, there's just no way I see this that just looks like the way I would really want to do it. It's all kind of ridiculous. We're going to drill. Let's see. This is coming in. Let's... I think I'm going to move this up to about there. What is that, 5 feet or so? So 60 inches. If it was possible, I would have rather, you know, if there were walls above, I would have just put 2 heads in this room to have less and just do more drops from above. It's just easier than drilling floor joists and stuffing pipe and floor joists. But some guys like doing it that way, and that's totally fine too. So here we go. Let's we got it laid out pretty much. It's all connected. I guess one thing we could do is get some underground pipe on here. For sprinkler drawing, you don't for site information, they don't need just super basic site plans if you even really need to put it. Some jurisdictions seem to like it, some don't seem to care. A lot of it just really has to do, I'm gonna just put it on one of these architectural lines. This is the street, okay? And I'm just gonna put people are like, what are those crazy notes you have? I don't know, I just try to make it so I don't have to think either. Or my text. Street, let's call this, let's put it on the same layer. This is what, doors? Okay, we're on doors. That sounds good. Yeah, and so the main is across the street too, so we're gonna be going. Man, I wish I didn't. Just to make it cleaner, I'm gonna let's see, how do I want to do this? I'm gonna make it go this direction and then back out this way, even though it's probably just going straight this. Actually, that's what I'll do because I'm gonna do a dash line, so you'll be able to tell the difference. Okay, it does really go. It comes in about something like this. Let me think. Is that right? It's just in my crawl space the other day, and it's coming in from the street about right here. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then it's kind of wacky. It comes out here. I had to dig up part of this when part coming off my meter froze in the winter. I had to kind of explore this stuff, which is good for us today. So I just happen to know. It isn't exact, it's something pretty close to this. And it's coming out here, and there's a meter. Do I have a meter symbol on this template? Oh yeah, here we go. Now, if you're a contractor just starting out, I could, I could put together a package for you with a template like this. has some stuff to just make it easy. You don't really have to know how to draft that much. You can just use copy, cut and paste, those types of things. Let's see, I want to rotate this. Especially a lot of guys starting out will do a lot of tenant improvements, and those are really hard to make money on if you got to pay somebody to do a drawing. I mean, let's just be honest. If you got to pay somebody to do a drawing, it's a little rough. Let's see, I got, because it's tenant improvement, a lot of time, I'm in the state of Oregon. A lot of the work happens to be in the Portland metro. And, some jurisdictions you can do 10 heads without a drawing. Some you can do 20. I mean, and then when you do need a drawing, what's the level? Might just be, a lot of times it's for tenant improvement, you just got to polka dot heads. And I've seen drawings that guys did in paint and they got a permit. I'm not going to knock it. I'm trying, obviously, I'm a drafter. I'm trying to produce something more professional. But, if it gets you a permit, I'm not going to knock it. If you can install it from your drawing. So let's see, I need to match these. All this underground. There's an RP device right here where it comes in. I'm not going to show that for this, but because this is just a make-believe drawing anyway, but if we would have to take that into consideration in the calcs, you want to make sure, they got Nfpa 13D, they got the signs you're supposed to be putting up, about letting people know they can't just put a water softener on your line coming in before it breaks off to the sprinkler system, that type of thing. Can't be doing anything to reduce the flow. But this is, we're on a hill. A lot of times people are on a hill, the water system in my area, they pump it to get up the hill. And so you got a ton of pressure at the top. And as you come down, the pressure increases. And so the houses have to have these pressure reducing valves. Because the sprinkler pipe can handle, 200 PSI, no problem. But we're connected to the domestic plumbing and they can't handle that. So nobody probably cares about any of that. I'm ranting a little bit. Let's get this thing done. Let's move on to dimensioning. We got this pipe laid out. So I'm going to go to my layer dim pipe. And let's see here. I'm going to start with linear. I'm going to go from that endpoint to that endpoint. Oops. And this is the wrong dimension style. So let me back up. Let me go to dimension styles or drafting styles, I guess. And I'm going to switch from our standard dimension to our sprinkler pipe dimension. Activate. Now I'm going to go endpoint to this T, and then now I got to place the dimension on the line. Now once I have my first dimension placed on the line, I can just use continue and just go to the next T, a 90 there. And to make it a little easier on myself, I like to select just the heads, the pipe, and the dimensions and go to layer isolate. And it just makes it a little easier. Okay, now go to the top floor. Oh, I don't know. I wish I could, I need to have some clever banter going here while I'm just kind of mindlessly doing some dimensioning here. But if any of you are thinking about, maybe you're a fitter and you're thinking about going on your own, but you don't know how to do it without buying this crazy expensive program that you've seen at the supply house, or buying, or I mean, sorry, or hiring a designer, which are pretty hard to come by, right? There's other options, and that's what I'm trying to demonstrate mainly on my channel right now, is just that, you don't have to. I'm using Draftsight right now. This is basically an AutoCAD clone, AutoCAD LT clone. Used to be free, but now it's $200 a year. See, let's go on to our hangers now. Let's see, I got a little hanger tool. This little cross thing is just a snap point that I use to place the hanger. I don't place hangers exactly where they're supposed to be located for CPVC pipe because you wouldn't be able to see them. So what we have done is, our standard is just every job, no matter what it is, we put hangers on it like it's 1-inch Schedule 40. And then we have a chart on the front that's to clarify what the spacing of the hangers is, per Nfpa 13D or 13, depending what you're doing, or 13R. And, we put our detail of what the hanger symbol is, and we just put these hash marks on a foot away from every head and intersection of pipe, pretty much like you would be doing on Schedule 40 pipe. All right, I missed one right here. Going the other direction, so oops. I'm gonna copy this guy, put it there. And we're getting pretty close to being ready for calculations, I guess. I'm gonna go a little further too, I think, and show maybe some layout a little more in depth than before. Okay, there's hangers on everything. Oh, I gotta get our underground dimensioned. I'm going to remove this little bend to make it easier to dimension. Now I'm going to use this angled dimension. Uh, so, excuse me. I'm going to just copy this over here. There's our main. For if this was a 13 or even a 13R, I'd be showing even there's a hydrant rate. Let's see. It's only like I think one driveway down across the street and one driveway down. It's pretty close. I could probably show that on here too if I wanted, but I normally don't go to that extent on 13D. I don't believe it's required on the 13D checklist. I should have had that to show you too, but get rid of those guys. Oh, we need to figure this out. Yeah, let's not forget about that. So, how do we do this? Well, if you get these drawings from an architect, a lot of times you'll get them the way they draw them. The sections will be turned to the side like this, all around the drawing, and that's because that's how they draw them in AutoCAD. That's how you figure out your sections, because these walls are lining up. So, let's see. This is actually a mirror image of what's going on. I kind of messed that up. I need to rotate the other way. This is dining is here, and over here it's on the top. So I'm gonna go, hopefully this will stay lined up. If I do it this way, I'm gonna mirror, or no, rotate. That's cool. Let's move it over here. Okay, so now my dining is aligned with dining, living. Well, I should say family. Oops. Family, what does it say? Downstairs, family. Family and family, okay. It's weird. Not like anybody doing sprinklers cares about that stuff. But basically now I can just line this up, and that's where the pipe's going to be in the attic. So I just use the same symbol as my riser nipple in the attic, and go from quadrant to intersection, copy. Actually, I wanted to be real tricky about it. That's not going to be quite perfect, but it's like you'll see the pipe is going over the line. But you know, the the amount that we're off is so minuscule it wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't even make a difference. So I'm just going to go with it. What did I do wrong? There we go. That's what I meant to do. Okay. So that's where our pipe is in the attic. So now I can use my rotate command again and just go like that. Well, I guess I got two sections now. I don't really need to. I'm just gonna start using this one, I guess. So that's where my pipe is in the attic in my section. And our imaginary ceiling line behind where it's flat would be right. Oh, that's not quite draw right. Oh well, it's close enough. It's gonna be there, okay? So if I take this and draw it, you know, this is on the truss behind, right? So if that puts it flush on the ceiling, I want to go 4 inches up, 1/2 inch for sheetrock, and 3.5 for the bottom cord of the truss. So that's where the line, the piping below would be that elevation. I'm going to leave this here, but put it on my title ref layer so it doesn't print. And I'm going to put a dimension between these two. And I'm going to change it to this dimension style. Okay, it's 2 feet. So my riser nipple right here is 2 feet. So I got a little tag here I use. So back to it. And it's 1 inch, 2'0". Okay. And this one is the same. And then this one is going to be different, but I'll just go with that to start. And it's going to be, well, let's go ahead and keep drawing our section here. Let's go to pipe. Okay, so the way I show heads on a section is totally phony, but it's just so that it's very visible on the drawings. Basically, I just do 6 inches down from the ceiling and 6 inches across for the deflector, which is all, it's, you know, that's huge. It's not that big at all. I want it to be a lot, you know, the same angle. So to do that, go to rotate. Now that's 90 degrees off, but I can just do that. And I'm kind of ridiculous. My OCD makes me make that one piece. No good reason for it. So now I can just mirror this. Okay. So we still need to get this distance. Remember, we need some piping down here. Well, we're not going to even use this other section, so I'm just going to take that off of here. Actually, I'm not going. What I usually do is I will put it on the title reference layer, my one that doesn't print, just in case, I don't know, for some reason later on somebody says they want me to put another section. It's just ready to go. But so down on the first floor, we've got 8 foot off of this wall here. Pretty sure that's what, oh no, it's just centered. Oops, wrong one. Let's see what this is. 6'3" off the wall. So I'm just gonna go here, go 6'3". Okay. We'll copy this to the midpoint of that, so it's centered in the floor joist. Now I'm gonna go perpendicular to where that line was. Okay. So that's where that pipe was. Now, it's actually not a circle right there. 5'0". would look more like that. 3'9". And we're using concealed heads, so it doesn't look anything like that, but this is just to make it easy to see where the heads are on the section. So that's it. That's all the piping on this section. Okay, so now we need to get the dimension from where that pipe is, the elevation of that to this. Let's put it into this other style. Okay, so it's 9'1", so that's our height of this. We're going 9'1" through the wall to get to the second floor. Where are we at? There we go, 9'1", and we'll copy this over to here. This is where it's going up, 9'1". Yeah. The calc program I'm using right now will lay out our nodes according to that. The only thing I have to complain about this calc program I'm using, which is the E8800 hydraulics, or does not have a very good name. It's not memorable. 8800 dashboard hydraulics. It's a great program, but I wish I could name the nodes anything I want. You have to use the source, has to be node 0. Other than that, the other nodes can be any number that you want. So usually my base riser is 1, going 0 to 1, which I've got. Let's see, I think. Got my little riser detail here. Double check. Watts double check. Going to, we got our drain for testing. Got a node 1 at the base of the riser, node 2 top. So our node 2 would be right here. I mean, on this plan, node 1 is there as well, but I'm just going to mark it as node 2 because this is a ceiling plan, theoretically, because we're drawing sprinklers. Okay, there's node 2. Now, it's totally not necessary, but I make a node for floor changes as well. It's just easier for me in my mind to keep the nodes straight. But well, what it is, the reason, if you end up having to upsize the vertical pipe, it's just a lot easier to have the pipes broken apart. And so I always put a node at the top and bottom of vertical changes, just to have more control over upsizing and down, whatever, adjusting pipe sizing. So it's a good place. Too much stuff going on here. Let's just stick it here, I guess. We're going to call this 3. And where we come up on the top floor, we're going to call that 4. And then, like in a house, because we don't have very many nodes, like if I was doing a commercial system, I just always start my heads on the first floor as like 101. But with a house, since there's hardly any noise, I just started with 11 and 12. So I'm gonna do, let's see, don't look much difference. I'm gonna go with this because there's a little bit of a, this is gonna be slightly conservative because we have, 2 more feet in elevation change. Plus we got a few more elbows. Let's move this out of our way. Okay, there's node 11. I'm gonna stop it there for now, but I don't know. I guess if there's any interest, let me know, and I can do a demonstration with my calc program that I'm using right now. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. But for now, here is that's layout of a Nfpa 13D sprinkler system in Draftsight. Okay, one more thing I want to go over actually on this video. I'm just going to do a little bit talking about laying it out in paper space, or layout space, whatever you want to call it. Where we work on the drawing is model space. And then here's these tabs. I have this one set up for a 24 by 36 sheet. This one I have set up for 11 by 17. So I've got my hanger details already on here. This is a tenting detail. This is fluff, really. This is a concealed sprinkler. It's not necessary at all. And then my riser detail, which we were looking at earlier. Got another one. This riser detail up here has a flow switch on it. Some jurisdictions are still wanting flow switches, but many are not. Let's see. Let's go ahead and put our drawing on here, our 2 floors. So this is I'm gonna copy this viewport so I can use it. There we go. This I believe is it's set to 1/8 inch scale. So I want to have the plans at 1/4 inch scale. Looks like I got this locked so it won't accidentally get changed. And go ahead and change it to 1/4. And then I'm gonna lock it back up. Now that's just so if you didn't have this locked, if you're curious, I'm gonna unlock it. Now what could happen is if I accidentally double click on here, I'm just zooming in and out and I'm radically changing the scale. Well, I'm gonna click back out of there. I'm gonna select it. I'm gonna see how it says custom scale now. I'm gonna change it back to 1/4. And then I'm gonna lock it so it stays there. And I'm gonna want main floor. Upper floor. And we'll do that one section we were working on, which is right there. Okay. Let me go back into model space. We can tighten. Actually, that's like this is my symbol right here. So what I actually want to do is also put this. This is just what Chief Architect did. I don't even have it set up right for my standard right now. It's just using like chief defaults on a lot of this stuff. And now I'm going to take this, copy it over here. Actually, I don't need that symbol. The line is underneath it. Okay, now let's use the stretch command. Get ortho back on. So I'm just going to delete those to make it easy on myself. And I'm just going to take this guy. Using the stretch command here, move these in and out. Just select it, S enter. Okay. Looking better. Get these tightened up here. We don't need the living area shown there, so I'm gonna. That's not how I show it on a sprinkler drawing. We will need the information, so I'm not gonna delete it. We'll get this off. So there's our upper floor now. It's looking good. And our section, let's tighten this up. Okay, so our main floor will go first. Let's see, are we gonna have enough room here? Let's fix that up. So, because I integrated this site plan with it and got kind of a little bit of a problem with my details. There's lots of things I could do. Like I could, put I can't, what do you call it, a brake line through here and tighten this up. But I think I might be able to just scrunch stuff. That's pretty good. Oh, let's see. I don't like that. That's no bueno. Well, okay, that works if I move this node. I don't normally like to do it this way, but it's okay. Now I didn't use any, oh, that's not right, head. Let's see what we got here. Is this the right head? What is it, SS8464? I didn't put any high temp ones in or intermediate temp. These send you, it's a little bit weird going from 162 to 175. Normally, most other brands are like, I mean, 155 to 175, which seems a little more reasonable. But it doesn't seem much point in going up in temperature just 13 degrees. In fact, I think I'm just going to take this off. I didn't use these. Just trim this. Okay. Go main, oops. Main floor. Now we got our upper floor. There we go. Upper floor. I remember we had those square footages. We're going to put them right here on our, see the main floor is 593. 593. And then our upper floor, 1169. Okay. Now we just need to get our section on here. If it's going to fit, I hope. Sometimes we gotta be a little creative to avoid using two sheets. Some people don't, plenty of architects or engineers would not care about it. They would just say use two sheets. But sprinkler fitters, I mean, if they don't own a plotter, they're going to a print place to, pay for these copies. They want as few sheets as possible. Also, fewer sheets to lose on the site, right? Okay, well, that's not bad. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. No, that's good. Let's go ahead and try and make a PDF. I use color dependent plotting. There's really lots of ways to plot, but just before I plot, I select see, I've got all the architectural layers on this 252, which is going to come out and print as a light gray. And I just change our stuff to white, which it's because I have a white background, it'll be black. And I I got two screens going. It keeps bringing stuff up on my other screen. So let's go. This is all ready to go. I'm gonna hit OK. And I always go with the date when I'm doing a PDF, starting with the year 22. Today's December 9th. Oops. So this is how I have my text. And I'm gonna put prelim -A. That way, if we do, multiple preliminaries today, we can keep them straight. We're doing a back and forth. We usually just email PDFs. I mark up the PDFs. Now I'm going to undo my color change, save. I'm going to close this. And let's look at here it is. Nope, that's the wrong one. Just open the Draftsight file back up on accident. Let me open the PDF instead. Here we go. So here's our PDF we just created. And if I zoom in, you'll notice when I was talking about the when you print this, it's our piping and stuff really stands out. I should have probably moved this stuff a little bit more so it's not interfering. But even with it interfering, with the contrast and colors like this, you can usually read it pretty well. So thanks a lot, guys. There's our PDF of our layout of our fire sprinkler system design. If you'd like to see us use the hydraulic calculation program, leave a comment and let us know. Talk to you guys later.